Hey, Christian, it's Joe. Good to see you.
How's it going, Joe?
I'm doing well, man. I just wondered if you'd had a chance yet to reach out to Ron and what your thoughts were when you heard the news with him.
Yeah, I reached out to him yesterday. I mean, what an unfortunate deal. I think when you think about Coach Rivera, the first thing I think about is toughness. And when you hear someone has to go through something like that, obviously I don't know the severity of it. I heard, obviously based on what I read that, it wasn't as serious as bad would be. But he's going to handle it like a champ. I already know it. And my prayers go to him and his family. And I know, the whole Carolinas have his back. So.
Hey, Christian, it's Josh from the Riot Report. Wondering how the transition has been to pads, and kind of as the physicality ramps up, what you're seeing from this offense, and what you like so far.
Yeah, it's definitely good to get back in pads and get back to real football. With no OTAs, it's been good just to get right with my eyes and start to really get back into the feel and the flow of things with all the new stuff that we have. But I see a lot of great things in our offense, and I see a lot of things that we need to correct. And I think that's the beauty of these early stages. And when I say early stages, it's coming before we know it too. So I think we have the right attitude about going about practice and making sure we play fast, play physical, and then correct the mistakes in the meetings.
Hey, Christian, Jason Hubert, WFNZ. For the first few weeks, what's kind of been your observations on the offensive line so far, and how's that been, looking for you?
Those guys have been great. I think the biggest thing I've learned, and obviously in practices where you're trying to take care of guys, the communication's been great, and I love their attitude. I think we have such a gritty O-line and an O-line that loves what they do. And as a runner, that's something that gets me excited. So I love those guys, and I'm excited to be able to run behind them.
Hey, Christian, this is Miles Simmons. How long do you think it takes to kind of establish chemistry between you and a lot of these guys on the offensive line that haven't necessarily been here before?
I don't know if there's a set date. I think it's our job to get chemistry as quickly as possible. Obviously we've built a lot of chemistry over the last few weeks and have a little bit more before the season, a little more time to continue to do that. But I think it's our job right now to not only develop the chemistry, but to do it at an elite level all the time. So that's the biggest thing we're focusing on now, is making sure everybody's on the same page so that we can go out there and play fast.
Hey, Christian, David Newton. Nice spike out there by the way, pretty powerful. In your tweet a while back on your partnership on the 22 together, you mentioned how important it was to make an effort for the community to work through the division that exists. Can you expand on the divisions you've seen in the county or the country, and what you plan to do personally to maybe help fix that?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing now is just to continue to continue to listen and learn and have conversations with my teammates. And that's kind of why it all came about. Me talking with Shaq about some of the stuff going on in the country and really wanting to do something about it, not just talk about it, but to be about it. And that's when 22 and 54 together kind of came about. And we've had nothing but positive feedback, and I'm extremely excited to continue to work with the Boys and Girls Club of Charlotte and with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department as well, and see how we can continue to have these tough conversations and to continue to unite each other.
Is there anything specific, though, you want to do or accomplish there, with those groups?
Yeah, I think just create better understandings between everybody. I think when you talk about creating unity, it's about everybody working towards one goal, and that is unity. I think about football or sports in general is a great example of that. You have people from all different places, races, religions, but everyone comes together and ends up loving each other and working together towards something. And I think that's how the world should be as well.
Christian, it's Elena. I was just wondering, coming off of that, obviously you have such a platform to use, and how do you kind of prioritize, taking advantage of that and using that in a positive way versus, doing what you need to do? How do you use that platform the best you can?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I think the biggest thing I always look at is to do stuff that I'm passionate about. And when you're passionate about something, it makes it easy to do because you want to do it. You're excited about it. And at this stage in my life, I really want to take, the platform that I have and use it, with stuff that I enjoy or that I think needs help somewhere. Obviously the stuff that I'm doing with Shaq, the stuff I did during the coronavirus with 22andU, and then, the stuff that I do with the military as well. So for me, those are three things that I'm very passionate about. And I take my off time, normally in the off season, and obviously some of it floods into in season as well. But I definitely try to do that in times where I can, not in times where, I'm busy with football. But I enjoy doing it. I think it's important, and I'm encouraged by all the athletes in the NFL who use their platform for, to better the world. So for me, I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I've got to work with some great people.
Hey, Christian, this is Stephen Toronto of the Riot Report. You mentioned your offensive line being a gritty unit, and it's interesting to me because we've talked so much about the speed of this team's offense, but physicality is very important as well. Where do you think this team is from a physical toughness standpoint, and why is it important for an offense to be just as physical as they are fast?
I think because, in order to win football games, you have to be both. You got to be fast, you got to be physical, you got to be able to make big plays, but you got to be able to get, get in a stance and get 3 to 4 yards when it matters. And that's something that our team, needs to pride themselves on, running the ball when you have to and stopping the run. And, it sounds cliche and it's obvious, but that's the time in the game that really matters. And, we have athletes, we have great O-line, we have a great quarterback, and we have good backfield. But from there, it's just executing. It's can you beat the guy in front of you? And that's the part of football that you really, it's tough to coach. It's you and another guy one-on-one, and can you win? So I believe in our guys, and I think, when you ask how physical we are, I think we're very physical, but we're going to have to prove that not just, the first Sunday, but every Sunday.
Christian, Josh Graham, Sports Hub Giant. First off, when you hear UNC, do you think Northern Colorado or Tar Heels? Secondly, now that you have a chance to work on the field with Joe Brady, how hands-on is he on the field versus what you guys had in the summer during the Zoom calls?
Yeah, well, first, when I hear UNC, I think Bears. Obviously, I got the hoodie on. Go Bears. Obviously, my dad's a coach there now. I got my older brother's coaching there too. And my older brother went to Duke. I have a big Duke family lineage, so I try to take the Tar Heel out of the picture as much as possible. But Coach Brady's been great. I think his detailed demeanor, all down to business, and obviously his knowledge of the game is exceptional. So for me, it's just been fun to be able to pick his brain, to be able to learn and continue to get better every day.
Hey, Christian, it's Matt Harris with the ABC in Charlotte. Getting back to Ron Rivera real quickly, you touched on his toughness and handling his diagnosis like a champ. Just wondering if you could elaborate on what makes Rivera so beloved beyond just being a coach.
It's a good question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned about Coach Rivera and my time with him is that he's not just tough when you're winning. He's tough when you're losing too, and that's hard. I think your true character is shown in times of adversity, and he's the guy that we look to when things weren't going well, and he was always the same guy, always encouraging, and never changed. So I think that's a big thing as far as his toughness. And I know he's, like I said, not just him, but Stephanie and his whole family are going to handle this extremely well. And like I said, we all have his back. He's always had all our back. So, we all have his back, and, nothing but prayers and thoughts to him and his family.
Hey, Christian, back to Joe Brady and the offense. With all they're doing now, with all the other weapons you have around you and Teddy, is it going to be more difficult or easier to repeat the 1,000 with the way they're going to distribute the ball?
I don't think it matters. I think the biggest statistic is winning, and that's all I've really ever cared about. So, for me, I just want to win. I hope everybody scores 4 touchdowns a game, and I hope we win by 60 every game. That's obviously the goal, but touches don't matter. I think at the end of the day, it's the coaches got to do the best job they can of putting the ball in their playmakers' hands, and their playmakers got to do the best job we can of, making them right and doing what we do best, making guys miss in space, being physical in the run game, making guys miss in the pass game, catching the ball, being efficient, limiting negative plays. And, once again, it sounds easier than, it's easier said than done, but I think that's the most important part of football. When you have weapons, when you have talent, it's what you do with it and how consistently you do it.
Christian.
It's Jason Brown with Spectrum News 1 in Charlotte, and you've stepped up into more of a leadership role, and with no preseason games this year, how will you go about, I guess, getting this team ready to go come week 1 in the first game of the year?
I think it's about, in practicing with intent, meeting with intent. Everything you do has to be with intent, knowing we don't have preseason games and we didn't have OTAs. I think those are all, good excuses, but we have to be ready to roll when it comes, the first game against Oakland. And, for us, it's about just coming out every day and focusing on one thing you can get better at and getting 1% better every single day, and practicing fast, practicing physical. And, if we do that and continue to correct our mistakes, I think we're going to be good.
Hey, Christian, along those lines, practicing now, training camp wise, with no fans and here in your own building, is there some benefit to that? Different? Obviously, it's different than Spartanburg, but how would you say it could be advantageous, or is it advantageous?
No, I think it depends. For me, it never really mattered where you are. I think the biggest things that matter during training camp are the meetings and the practices and the recovery. And we have all those here. We would have had them anywhere we went. So as long as we're all taking advantage of those things and, making sure we're on our P's and Q's there, then, all the external stuff doesn't really matter. Obviously, we miss the fans. We love the fans, and they give us a lot of juice when we get out there. But, based on what we're hearing and not sure if there's going to be fans or how many fans there's going to be, we have to be able to adapt and make the most of it.
Anything else, guys?
Yeah, one more thing, Christian. Just wondering, you follow basketball at all, and what your reaction was, if any, to the Hornets getting a top 3 pick last night?
I'm excited. I think the whole city of Charlotte was excited. I personally am a basketball fan, and anytime you hear the news that you got to add some more talent to the roster, it'll be fun. So I'm excited to catch a few games this year, and I can't wait for that 3rd pick.
Hey, Christian, I got one more if you got a second. Now, notice you're on the hands team today, the punt return you normally do in practice. Is this staff more willing to use you in more ways to take advantage of your strengths this year?
It's wherever they want to put me is where I'm going to be. So, whether it's punt return, kick, I don't really care where it is. If they want me on the field, I'm going to be there.
Hi, Christian. Vashti Hurt.
Vashti, last one for Vashti, then we'll get out.
Thank you. Outside of the weapons, there's been a lot of talk around the weapons on this offense. With Joe Brady, what so far has excited you about the offense that he is implementing?
I think it's, there's so much. I'd love to give you all the secrets and all this stuff away, but I think it's just the way that they detail the practices and the way that, our guys are all bought into one goal, and you can really feel the energy. Obviously we have speed, we got talent, guys can make plays, but I think the stuff that you really can't coach and the attention to detail and taking everything super seriously is the stuff that I'm really excited about.
Cool. Thank you guys so much. Christian, appreciate taking the time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate